So USA threatening China.
And China's threatening the USA. That's the end of today's video, and it gets actually way more complicated than this. Let me read a headline you'll see here. It says, China vows retaliation against countries that follow U.S. calls to isolate Beijing. So basically, the USA is telling other countries to, you have to follow us, don't trade with China.
If you do that, we're gonna, like, ban you.
Ban you. It is kind of like that. So it's basically, you have to choose which team that you want to be on. And then China's basic statement is, if you follow what the U.S. is doing, then you're not on our team anymore, right?
So when I read that, it reminds me that, as I'm Korean, between whales fights, the shrimp's back broke.
Right, when whales fight, the shrimp back broke.
We are bigger than shrimp, but
This is the quote from Beijing. It says here, China firmly opposes any party reaching a deal at the expense of China's interests. If this happens, China will not accept it and will resolutely take reciprocal countermeasures. So basically, and we kind of get rumors, but you never know exactly what they're saying in the room, because the USA is supposedly talking to 70 countries, whether or not they're talking to 70, 80, 90, it number changes every day. Who knows? But one of the bargaining chips would be, work with us to isolate China, be on our side, and if you agree to these terms, maybe we'll be nice to you. But it puts kind of the neutral countries in a weird position.
Yeah, so I don't know. No one's winning right now. We can't really choose a side because we're, society, you give something, I give you something.
Right.
My friend needs something, or my friend needs give me something.
Because from, like, say, the point of view of, say, Korea, Philippines, Malaysia, India, UK, whatever, right? Whatever country is, generally speaking, you want to do what's in your best interest for your country, right? But the way the world is being divided up is like, if you want to, join the Team China or Team USA, there'll be, it's basically gangs.
Yeah, they're
basically
gangs.
They're basically gangs, right?
So that's why China says that it's like the
law of the jungle. So China's basically saying that USA wants to push the world back into the law of the jungle. So
there's no rule. Strongest survives, all weak animals will die.
Yeah, so that's the question I pose to you guys is, do you want to go back to the law of the jungle? In the law of the jungle, there's not really contracts.
No.
Because you can't trust anyone, It's like, I'm the lion or I'm the tiger. Yeah. Actually, is it lions or tigers live in jungles? I always get confused in that one.
Those both are living in jungles.
No, they don't. No, because the lions live in the mountains, I think.
No, lions live in Africa.
Oh, and there's jungles in Africa?
Yeah, jungle is tiger. Think about the
No, that's what I just said. The tiger is the jungle animal. The lion is like the more mountain. Or you can say desert too. This always comes up because when I was in college, I used to have a debate with a roommate of like, who is stronger, the tiger or the jungle or the bear? Because the bear is also mountain. That's more because they're all kind of the ruler. But it's kind of a stupid topic. But it does matter because the reason why we're talking about this stuff, because China referred to this whole situation is that it's like trying to negotiate with a tiger for its skin. Now, and that was actually from their language. I actually can read the statement because it's actually interesting. So basically it says here, trying to trade away others' interests for temporary gains is like bargaining with a tiger for its skin. It will only backfire. And there's a lot to unpack with this because I was, we were talking about this. Korea is like, you have these sort of similar types of sayings.
Yeah, Yoho is actually Chinese character that, for the letters, what is it?
Yeah, the Chinese characters, the Korean language is built on Chinese language in a way.
Yeah, in a way.
So oftentimes if I don't understand the Korean exactly, I can kind of guess. From the way that the words are built. That's a long discussion. But the point is that there's a lot of philosophies and sort of stories that are passed around the various countries, right? So for the example, in the tiger and bargaining for its skin, immediately sort of if you're unfamiliar with this sort of language, you're thinking, okay, so who's the tiger in this situation?
Well, it's not like that. They're explaining the situation.
Yeah.
So you're, in the wrong situation, you asking the wrong person, wrong question.
Right, you have the wrong strategy, basically what we're saying. Yeah. So when China says you're trying to bargain with a tiger for skin, like if you're Trump and
tiger.
Well, I was going to say if you're the Trump people, they have no experts on China. The USA right now doesn't have an ambassador to China. They don't have
really.
They don't have a they're so disorganized over there.
Really?
Yeah, they're really there's no ambassador to China, and then we don't even have a trade rep to China.
Oh.
And then China won't even negotiate with the USA unless the USA sends a trade rep.
Yeah.
Trump wants to negotiate one-on-one, but China doesn't.
But no, they're not going to say yes.
Well, yeah, who wants to talk to Trump? It's a waste of time, right? And, I mean, because okay, so this is a good example is that when China says, Trump, this is like negotiating with the tiger for its skin, Trump immediately will be like, am I the tiger? Are you the tiger? No, I'm the tiger. It's the greatest tiger of all time, right? Like he doesn't even understand it, so that's why I'm trying to explain it. So the basic concept of this is that the situation itself, your strategy is wrong. So think about it this way. Imagine you're the hunter, or not even hunter, just human, and if you walk up to a tiger and you're like, hey, can I have your skin? Because that's really good for me. But like the tiger's not going to understand what you're saying. It's like, well, what's this human doing? And you smell bad. Maybe I should eat you, right? Like that. It's just a really bad strategy. And there's no winners. The other way you would talk about this is that their strategy, there's no pathway to success. That's the argument that China's making.
No one's winning.
The other stuff that you have to think about when you talk about this is like, how do you understand world trade and international relations? Okay. So the best way to think about it is gangs. You could also talk about like a social media club or a social media group. So let's say we have 10 friends in the group, okay? And you make a rule. What would be a rule that you would have in your group?
Maybe no swearing.
Okay, no swearing in the group, right? And one of your friends is just like dropping F-bombs and S-bombs and D-bombs and like all sorts of stuff that kids say, and it's like really naughty, like, man, you better watch your mouth there. Yeah. So how do you enforce that then?
Yeah, he's someone who speak that, they're gonna say, oh, it's my freedom.
Yeah, so, that would be Elon Musk saying that's my freedom.
So you're not gonna stop you. So just you're not gonna be my friend anymore. So you're gonna be 9 of us.
Right. So basically, you kick them out of the group. So you can't really enforce a country. Like the country can do whatever they want. Yeah. They have a right to self-determination. They're sovereign nation. They can do whatever they want. If they can trade whatever they want. Yeah. But the penalty would be, and this is where the world gets divided. USA says, well, you can do what you want, but then you're not in our friend group anymore. That's basically what it ends up being. And then China says like, well,
but it's kind of USA right now. I'm not your friend anymore. You guys isolate yourself.
Right.
I want to leave NATO, I break the FTA with you.
Right. So in that situation, then the USA is Elon Musk trying to swear in the friends group, and all the other people are like, whoa, man, what are you doing? And they're like, they're kicking out, and then basically, then kind of China ends up ruling the group.
Yeah.
Which I talked to you guys about in the other video with USA. Right now, the plan is, according to the Trump people that was leaked, it was a 16-page memo. They want to close all the embassies, consulates, and just pull our people out of Africa, basically.
Oh.
A whole continent. Like all the embassies, all the consulates.
Why Africa?
Well, let's just say this. Elon Musk was born during apartheid when the white people ruled over the black people. Donald Trump and their group has a tendency to say bad things about a certain group of people, which is from that particular continent. But I don't want to make any light of it. But you guys know this. You guys know who they are. Just
But I don't know.
It's a big mistake. It's a big mistake.
Yeah. It's bad for America who lives or travel to Africa.
Absolutely. So for those of you guys who have traveled, you'll know this. Just imagine you lose your passport. Let's say you're traveling.
It's very simple.
Yeah. You're on vacation because there's lots of cool places to visit in Africa. You're on vacation, you lose your passport, and
or accident, car accident, something like that.
Yeah, because that's always something you want to know when you travel to another country is where is the embassy, where's the consulate. Yeah. If there's any kind of problem and you're an American citizen, you want to know where your people are. And if literally Trump pulls out all the people, like it's horrible.
Yeah.
On top of that, oftentimes the embassies or consulates, you can say embassy if you want, will facilitate sort of meetings and cultural events. Some can be more just business related, some can be cultural. So for example, Korea has a big cultural center in LA.
Yeah.
It's a big reach out.
Yeah.
So all of the Korean holidays, they'll have celebration of that, and they basically teach Korean culture. Another thing that, and I'm just using the Korean example, say in LA, would be they'll invite a famous speaker. So for example, you could have the president of Samsung theoretically could come to the cultural center, you know, and give a talk on that, and then the business leaders will come. It's the same way that USA then will sort of drive US business by having these meetups. Sure. When we used to live in Vietnam, and actually I was part of the group that was basically expats would meet in Vietnam. And true story, there was even like university affiliated groups. And basically they would have meetups like once a week of people, because Vietnam's like a big place for entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and they share information.
Absolutely,
you know,
absolutely.
How you build our business.
Yeah.
The money, how we get investment.
So basically, it's a way to network with various people. Sure. I'm just giving you one example, just if you guys want to talk about money and business. So right now, Africa is the place where I said it before. It's going to be like a Vietnam, India, Africa. I know Africa is a whole continent, but like many countries in Africa are developing. That's where the growth's going to be.
Yeah.
There's also like a lot of investment from China, and the USA has been falling behind already, and now we're just like giving up, I guess is the plan, or not plan, however you want to call that. So
plan.
Yeah, so basically it's the same as you're negotiating for the skin of a tiger, which is not a good plan. It's futile, you can't win, and there's only going to be a bad result. So that's what's going on right now. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on this. If you're a neutral country or supposed to be neutral, which side do you go with? Do you play both sides? Is that possible? And essentially what it is again, China's threatening countries if you join USA, and then USA is threatening countries if you join China. And then the countries are like, what do I do now?
You're like juggle.
Yeah. And then China's saying that USA wants to go back to the law of the jungle. So
no, actually, you're not really against to USA, just Trump.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And you know, so someone who rips up contracts, doesn't pay workers, goes back on his word, and constantly lies about you, you can't do business with this person.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what's going on. Love to hear your thoughts on this one. We'll catch you all in the next video. So bye.